obviously, having a record label in 2024 seems like a kiss of death financially. Like it could seem like something where a lot of people, I mean, artists aren't making money a lot of times. And it seems like the idea then would be that labels are not making money. So my question to you is, how do small record labels, especially these niche ones that we're talking about, how do they make money? What are the best revenue streams for them?
Well, the biggest thing is multiple revenue streams. I think there are very few labels. There are some, but there are very few labels that have one revenue stream. Um, there are some labels, I would say the majority of labels have a preferred revenue stream or a primary revenue stream. And so some labels, they do really well with vinyl. They do really well with physical product. They have a distributor. They have great relationships with their local record store. They have maybe a fan base who is committed to anywhere between 20 to 50 records on pre-order. So if you're pressing 300 records and you're getting them for $8, $7 each, and you're selling them for $25, and your fan base is committed to 40 or 50 of them. The artist can sell 40 or 50 of them on tour or to their fan base, and you have a distributor who's committed to 100 of them, and then you have some local record stores that champion you. So there are labels out there who have a really good model for vinyl and cassettes in the same way. Less so with distribution in record stores, but who have like an online community for their cassettes. In those cases, streaming might just contribute a small piece to the pie. Sync licensing might contribute a small piece of the pie. And then there's labels in our community who are absolutely killing it on sync licensing. They come from a sync background, and they have relationships with sync agents and music supervisors. They have channels, direct channels. They record their music in the studio with a TV show in mind or with a type of sync in mind. And this is a record label. And then when that song does well on streaming, when that song does well on a sync, they also pick up some of the streaming revenue because people will watch it on TV, they'll Shazam it, and they'll go find it, or it gets placed on a playlist for that TV show. And so they get some streaming money, but the majority comes from sync. So there are a lot of labels where they just find their path, and maybe that's physical, maybe it's sync. We have a lot of relaxation, meditation, neoclassical labels in our community that are just killing it on Spotify and are on incredible playlists, and they make tons of money monthly from Spotify. And in the same community, there's people who get absolutely $0 and now officially are getting $0 from Spotify. And so it's there, but I will say those are unique examples. A great label should be working on all of those channels, plus revenue streams I haven't mentioned, plus a revenue stream that I or you have never thought of before. That to me is a really exciting record label.
So we talked about streaming, we talked about physical media, and we talked about sync licensing. Are there any others as well? So like maybe publishing or what are these other ones? You said there was a couple other ones. Let's dive into those.
Okay. Publishing, I don't really think that my personal belief is I don't think record labels should get involved with publishing. I think that should be left with a publisher or publishing admin. It's a very complicated process. It requires a know-how, it requires connections with other countries, and I just think to be done well, it requires special contracts with your artists. So to run a record label and a publishing company at the same time, I would question that if you're an individual person. Um, so publishing, I don't think record labels get too much involved with, um, but some people do. I would say, let's see, what else do we have? I guess there's the merch side of things. There are record labels that have started to see when a record label has music fans coming to their social media for their releases and coming to their website to buy their releases, some record labels will start to carry other people's titles and start to move in the direction of like an online record store. Some record labels, when you start to have customers of a certain kind, then maybe you're also selling hardware. There's a record label in Calgary that has developed a plugin. So they're selling a music plugin, plus they sell records. And I mean, it's like there are no rules. It's like if you were to start a record label, would you think about also starting a music plugin, like creating a music plugin? And of course not. Like or a piece of hardware for studio or microphone. No, but that's incredible that like somebody would go out there and do that and understand that there are no rules, that you could open a record store. We have record labels in our community in New York who have a record store. So it started as a record label and then they opened up a traditional brick and mortar record store. Label services too. Some labels will offer some of the services that you're offering to independent artists that aren't officially signed to their label. There is a record label that just opened up a pressing plant in Pittsburgh. There's another record label in Oklahoma that started a distribution company. So they're taking care of digital distribution. These are creative record labels that are saying, we're not making enough from streaming. We're not making enough from physical sales. We're not making enough from sync, or maybe we just don't have the contacts to do those things. And so what's another way that we can be creative? Or maybe we're doing okay with streaming. We're doing okay with vinyl. We're doing okay with sync. We're doing okay with live shows. We're doing okay with merch. Maybe there's something else that we could do that nobody else is doing, like opening a pressing plant or opening a record store.